We need to talk about Solana. Until recently, I was claiming that Solana will be the next Ethereum, and until a year ago, I actually had a bag. So in this video, I want to do an honest review of what's happening with Solana, if I'm planning to hold any SOL in the future, and if I decide to, what will be the triggers that will make me buy and hold Solana. Let's jump right into it. We could probably make a TV series about Solana. There's been so much drama with this project for the past several years. So in this video, I will do like a review of all the fundamental parts that I believe are important. And then, of course, we're going to see what the future holds, in my opinion. So let's start with the network issues that they have. This was back in January 2022. There was really a bad moment for the network. There was a lot of downtime, and actually this continued through 2022. And as you can see, pretty much every single month, the red dots means that there was a major outage. And in April, this was 2 hours. In May, it was 5 hours. In June, it was another 4 hours. And this was pretty much the theme through 2022. And everyone was claiming that Solana is dying because of all of these issues. But as you can see right here, since 2000, from the beginning of 2023, there has been only one outage, which was again a major outage. It was 19 hours. However, it was the only one for this year. The outages were mainly caused for one reason, and that was all the trading of NFTs that was happening on the network. And currently, honestly, there are not that many transactions happening, and there's not such a rush for NFTs or anything else on Solana. So we don't know how this will behave if we get another NFT bull run. But for now, this is really not an issue anymore, I would say. I know that the Solana Foundation has been working on improving the uptime of the network, and we can probably see the results from this. So a purely unbiased opinion is that for the past year or so, we haven't had that many outages, but obviously this doesn't give us the full picture. And talking about NFTs, I think this is one of the main reasons that Solana actually exploded back in 2 years ago. And we need to look into the volumes and what exactly is happening on Solana NFTs. As you can see here, pretty much from August 2021, we started seeing NFTs popping up on Solana. And right here in the beginning of 2022 was really the high point of the NFT craze overall, not only on Solana. And this is when most of the outages happened. But after that, once we got into a bear market, you could see here that already for more than a year, the volume has been flat. And I mean, here on the top, it was like 20 million on a good day, but average like 5 to 10 million volume per day. And currently we are sitting at around 1.5 million of trading volume of NFT. So a significant decline, and this has been the case for pretty much a year. As I said, that's completely normal, obviously, with a bear market. However, I'm not sure that Solana NFTs will make such a big return, even if we get another bull cycle. And my personal opinion is that they're much more attractive NFTs in the pipeline. Solana was the new doc back then. You know, when SOL NFTs launched, there were already ETH NFTs, and Solana was something new and so on. And everybody jumped onto it because of the low fees and the flippers and, you know, all the bots and so on. However, right now we have a little bit of different story, and we're seeing also a lot of activity on Bitcoin network with the ordinal space. This has been also in a massive bear trend for the past months, but I believe these will be one of the first ones to pop once we get it going again, and probably Solana NFTs will suffer because of this. But even if SOL NFTs don't come back, I think there's a much bigger issue here that I want to discuss on SOL and show you that it's not actually that bad as people seem to think it is. But obviously Solana was a big part of the FTX collapse, and that affected SOL's price and so on. But Alameda and FTX were one of the biggest holders of Solana. And currently, while FTX is in bankruptcy procedures, there's an approval to sell the billions of coins that FTX and Alameda are holding. However, this article is a little bit misleading because all of the SOL that they have, and that's plenty of SO. It's around 1 billion of SO tokens. They won't get unlocked right away. And here on the Solana Foundation website, there's actually a great article that's from November 2022. So it's no news right now, although you might see some titles that seem really scary. Alameda and FTX hold a bunch of tokens, but they all have linear unlock schedule, and the earliest one is ending at 2025, March 1st, 2025. So this sell pressure here has been already on the market, and you can very easily see it on the graph here. I think it's pretty representative for what is to be expected. And this graph, except for this part, which we're going to discuss in a little bit, looks pretty much like any other token inflation graph. So it's pretty much around 6-7% inflation for Solana. There will be an event here, which is in 2025, keep this in mind, that will unlock a lot of tokens at once. However, that's way out of the future, and we could probably even have another full bull market here before this major unlock happens. So again, I don't think for Solana it will be such a major issue here that we're gonna have these bankruptcy procedures and there will be some sell pressure on the market. I really don't think that this will be the reason for SOL to go to 0 or 100x. However, there's something else, and this is really the fundamentals that I generally look into when I do research for tokens. But there are a couple of research papers here that I want to show you on Messari. I'll link them below. We're not gonna go over all of the data here. Obviously, you can do it for yourself. But there are very key few takeaways that I wanted to show. The first one is the state of Solana as of Q2 2023. So not the most recent information currently, but I think a pretty good snapshot. And here, if you can zoom up a little bit, you'll be able to see that the average daily transactions on the network haven't really changed in the past year, even more than a year. It's around 20 to 30 million transactions per day, and it's not a major change. I don't see any spikes, I don't see any decreases, which generally speaking in a bear market is good to see. However, you can see here the total value locked in the ecosystem has fallen off a cliff. And for me, that is a very major data source that tells me that the situation in Solana is not so bright as compared to some other factors that we're gonna look in just a second. And even if we try to find more recent information, we could see this on DeFi Llama, and you'll be able to see that Solana currently is still around 300 million in total value locked. And as you can see here, the graph, this has dropped more than 90%. So major drop. But the bigger issue for me, and what you could see also in the Messari document, is that currently Solana has a total value locked less than Base, and Base is a layer 2 that Coinbase is building. This is a very new network. This has already its fair share of rocks, and still the total value locked is more than Solana. And I'm not gonna even talk about something like Optimism with 600 million, Avalanche with 500 million, Arbitrum with 1.7 billion in total value locked. So you kind of get my point. This is not any significant total value locked. And unless we see some major catalysts within the Solana network, I don't really think we are going to see major push into total value locked, more than what the average market will see when we are in a potential bull run. And if we go to the state of the L1 document that, again, I'm going to share below, we'll see that Solana is pretty much not a standout. There's not a major narrative. And if you have been following this channel, I'm huge on narratives in crypto. And for me personally, there's no narrative currently for Solana that would really want me to buy it. We do in the short term or in the long term, but this of course could change. And there are several factors that we're going to look into that I could see potentially that could flip this. But I wanted to show you here a few things. So for example, there are several narratives that could potentially play out in my opinion. One of them is with deflation, because Ethereum, as you know, it's pretty much flatlined or a little bit deflationary in the past months. And there are networks like BNB in this case, which I'm not going to even talk about Tron, but BNB is kind of deflationary, and all the rest of them are pretty much same exact thing. They all have some kind of inflation. Solana is, as you can see here, at the bottom of this graph. So this is not a narrative that I could see playing out for Solana. And it was the same with real yields. It's the same with liquid staking. For example, Solana has around 30 million locked on Lido, while compared to Ethereum, and the billions and billions of dollars are locked on Ethereum. Here you go. This was the graph that I was looking for. So on Lido currently we have around 14 billion Ethereum staked and only around 50 million Solana staked. So a huge difference, and honestly another narrative that I think it won't play in favor of Solana. One thing that potentially could change this is the Solana Phone. The Saga is called. It just launched. The reviews honestly from the influencers on YouTube are kind of a mixed bag. I'll let you be the judge. Just go watch a few of them and watch what the phone offers as features and make up your own mind. However, I think this could be something that could change the narrative for Sol. They are building pretty much the first Web3 phone. There will be a lot of integrations going on. I'm not too impressed with, generally speaking, with the features, but I think this is just the first version, and in the future this could play a significant role. And everybody that's been in Web3 for a while, that it's a pain in the ass to use mobile for any kind of Web3 transactions. So this is definitely, for me, currently something that is completely different from everything else. However, I don't see anything else in the back for Solana right now. We will look into price right now, and I'm going to show you what I'm looking for in order to see some movement, and at least on the price side. However, unless Solana comes out with something really different, really interesting, really unique as features, I'm not really sure how, first of all, it will flip Ethereum, or if I would even consider flipping Ethereum, but more like, will this be really the next Ethereum? For now, I have my doubts. It's just that the growth of layer 2s with their new narrative has been so significant. I personally don't know where Solana will find a way to differentiate itself from all the other layer 1s, including the new ones like Aptos and Sui. But this shouldn't discourage you completely from considering Sol for a very key reason, actually. With all the stupid things that happened to Solana, with the FTX collapse, the network outages, and so on. So with all the bad things, we're actually seeing Solana starting to consolidate and having some kind of a clear price structure. And if this thing holds, so let me just draw a few levels here around $30. If this price action holds and we don't collapse in another downtrend completely, I think this will be the level that potentially could signal the beginning of a bull market for Solana. So around 27-30 bucks, I would say. This is a key resistance currently. We already had an SFP here, and potentially, we are starting to see a squeeze into this level. So sometime next year, this might be a really nice trade setup that I could potentially see myself taking. However, a very big caveat here. First of all, when we're talking about altcoins that has already had such a significant run up, in general, as a rule of thumb, we don't see them run as much as new projects. Let's say we take a breakout here on this level around 30 bucks and we get to a new all-time high. This is around 7 to 8x, which is not a small gain, don't get me wrong. However, I'm not sure that Solana could get there again. This is, of course, remains to be seen, but honestly, with the narratives that we have with coins like Arbitrum as a layer 2, as a major layer 2, I'm not sure, because we could argue that this is also kind of a consolidation area for Arbitrum. And keep in mind, Arbitrum currently is less than 2 billion, I think even less than 1 billion in valuation. And Solana is like 5 or 6 times bigger. So if we see something similar playing into Arbitrum, and we see this pattern and potentially a breakout, I'm not sure that I want to take Solana over Arbitrum as a long-term play in a bull market, just because of the network effect that currently Arbitrum has, which is major, much bigger than Solana, but also just because of the narratives. This is a layer 2, and I think these will be very big in the future. However, if Sol decides to do its run up before this, so maybe we get a catalyst, as I said, we get some kind of a news, and if this thing starts popping above this level before we start seeing a real bull market kicking, I would definitely entertain a trade, because I think this will be one of the cleanest charts, and still we have a lot of people that are interested. And obviously the Solana Foundation is not sleeping, they're building stuff. We don't know how good their projects will be in the future, but still, this is one of the best signs, you know, to see a project keep building. And I think they really need to do something major, or otherwise they'll just become another layer one and really will get lost in all the noise. But yeah, that's everything for Solana. If you have any question, guys, you know how to find me.